Thank you for the clarification. I love that. Thank you. All right, guys, welcome. My name is Alexa, COO at BPM RIA. That is Broward, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade Real Estate Investors Association, your only local chapter here in South Florida that is approved and partnered with the National RIA, National Real Estate Investors Association, where we are here to promote, protect, and educate our local real estate investors. So happy to have you guys in here today. We are getting locked in for an awesome webinar today with Pelago, formerly known as Pelago, now Lotside. We have Gideon, we have Violet. We're super excited. You guys know Violet. She comes out to those local meetings. So we hope to answer all your questions on buying good deals on market today. To get us started on a great note, you guys, I have a webinar raffle. So if you're interested in getting in this raffle, all you need to do is text the word membership to this number that you see on the screen. I popped it in the chat as well. So it's 954-800-6961. Text that word to that number if you're interested in winning a 1-year membership to BPM RIA. That is a $295 value. I'll announce the winner at the very end. So good luck and have fun with that. Alrighty, upcoming events. You guys, we are slammed. We're slammed. We are so happy about that and so grateful. So you guys, please take advantage of these free events that we have on the calendar right now. These events are posted to the website right now. We have so many opportunities to learn, win raffles. Guys, please, please, please take advantage. We have a webinar later this week. We're going to discuss some negotiation tactics. Love that. We have a free workshop this weekend. You guys, limited seating. Miami-Dade, if you are not flooded, please come out to our workshop. We're going to discuss pre-foreclosures, probates, and short sales. You guys really love this topic. We did a webinar on this earlier this month. It was popping. So you guys, we're going to go in person this Saturday, 10 to 12, free workshop. All you need to do is get your name on the list, and you can go ahead and do that. Click the link in the chat, go to our website, click upcoming events, and get registered for that free workshop. Yes, we're going to have a raffle. Yes, it's going to be a free seat to our boot camp. So you're definitely going to want to be at the workshop if you can make it, if it's safe. Please don't sink your car in water. Please, it's not. We want to make sure you guys are safe and that this rain isn't going to wash us away. Alrighty, we have our monthly meeting right around the corner, you guys. Get registered, get locked in. Scott Jelinek, you guys loved his strategies. You loved his methods. So go register for the monthly meeting on Zoom, Wednesday, October 2nd from 7 to 8:30. Can't wait to see you guys there. We're going to do another fun raffle there. We have a new vendor, Turbo Tenant. They're going to teach us rental management tasks that you should be automating. I know some of you guys love being, landlords and just want to give all your time, but I promise you, you deserve the time for yourself. And let's see how we can get you that time back for maybe doing one more deal, finding another property, giving yourself that time to exercise, giving that time back to yourself by using those automating strategies. So looking forward to seeing you guys there at that free webinar. And then oh gosh, you guys, this one is right up my alley. Artificial intelligence and day-to-day business activities. Chef's kiss. Can't wait to see you guys there. Next Million Mastermind teaching that one. Free webinar, raffle. Get registered on the website right now. Alrighty, my favorite way to keep up with events is via text. We have text updates. If you're interested in getting those text updates with the registration link, everything you need right to your phone, go ahead and text BPM REIA. This will trigger the workflow to send you guys those updates. So make sure you do that all one word, no spaces. Leave out the little quotation mark thingies or you're not going to get triggered or you're not going to get those updates. So make sure you do that correctly. Go ahead and check out the chat. I'll put those details in the chat for you guys so we can keep on moving here. Guys, we have a lot to talk about, so let me keep moving over here. All right, our next boot camp is November 16th and 17th. This is a 2 full-day virtual live boot camp. We're going to discuss wholesaling, flipping, and rehabbing. We have 4 local business owners. They're all coaches on this training. We have member and non-member pricing, and this is a money back guarantee. So this training is completely led by our CEO and lead mentor. We're going to tell you what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it in our coaching program in 2 full condensed jam-packed days. It's absolutely incredible. Go click the link in the chat if you're interested in getting more details on the training and seeing who are the 4 guest speakers that we bring on this training as well. All right, members, as you know, you get all the goodies. You get all those discounts that we receive through National RIA, discounts to Home Depot, Avis Budget, Office Depot Business, Rent Perfect, Millennial Insurance, the list goes on. If you're interested in seeing those benefits, go ahead and click the link in the chat. You can go purchase your membership on the website right now. You can renew your membership on the website at any point, you guys. So go ahead and get your memberships now before our next quarterly meeting. It's coming up first Wednesday of November at Nova Southeastern University. All the members get in for free. Their guests come in for half price, only $10. So go ahead and get that now before the meeting comes up, because we want you guys to have the smoothest experience and just get to the networking, get to those vendors, and get as much out of those events as possible. So go click that link in the chat. Last but very not least, one-on-one coaching and mentoring here at BPM RIA. Some of you may know we offer a one-on-one coaching program. Some of you may not. We do put up 100% of the money for our students' deals and split the profit 50-50. If you're interested in learning what's included in these programs that we offer, I invite you to book a discovery call with me on our website. Super easy. Go to the website, bpmria.com, click book a discovery call. It'll be a solid 30 minutes with you and me. I can get to know you, see what questions you have. And during this time, I'll be more than happy to schedule a 1-hour free consultation with a mentor so you can get into those nitty-gritty questions and see if our program is a good fit for you guys. So if you're interested in funding your education, we do have this third-party funding. You can go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen. I'll be more than happy to email this to you as well. My email is in the chat. You guys can go to the chat right now and send me an email if you want this link sent to you, or go ahead and scan this QR code on the screen. All you need to fund your education is the minimum 620 credit score. $35,000 verifiable income is a soft credit pull, and you'll get the same day response as long as you do this in business hours. So if you do it, after business hours tonight, you'll get the response tomorrow. So super quick, you guys, super convenient, super grateful we have that connection right there. And thank you guys so much for coming in today, for taking the time to learn with us. We always want to take a moment to thank National RIA for all the things that they give us. Thank all of our corporate members, all of our vendor partners like Gideon, like Violet at Pelago, now Lotside. So you guys, thank you for taking the time. Just a couple housekeeping rules. I'll be putting helpful links in the chat for you all. I'll make sure that you guys have everything you need. And then if you do have questions for our speakers today, go ahead and put those in the Q&A box that you see in your Zoom menus. You should see a Q&A button with a little question mark on it. Go ahead and put all your questions in there for our speakers. We are recording today's session, so we will post the recording on our YouTube channel for you guys to review, share, like, all the things. So Gideon and Violet, thank you guys so much for taking the time. We hope that, we hope to see Violet soon at the next quarterly. And, Gideon, I don't blame you for not wanting to come to South Florida right now. Things are getting a little crazy now. It's storm season. So hopefully, maybe around the holidays, maybe you can take a little get away from the cold a bit, maybe. Hopefully.
There you go.
No, but seriously, thank you guys so much for coming on here. We loved the last presentation you guys did, so happy to have you back. And yeah, let's do this thing. We're ready for it. We're ready to hear what's going on in your world and any updates. And yeah, tell us everything. We want to know everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple updates to the site. And I think we're covering buying deals on the MLS. So kind of talk through some of the stuff we talked through in the last presentation. I guess everyone should kind of know up front that there's no kind of catch or anything to what we're presenting. This is like a totally free website. We're, just here to get the word out on it, give you some pro tips on how to use it. So I'm hoping this will be pretty informative for folks out there. And yeah, certainly if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. So the topic is buying good deals on the MLS. And I am struggling to find this graphic that I prepared that shows how on-market deals perform versus off-market deals. So like on flips that you purchase from the MLS versus flips that you purchase off-market. And the truth is that the absolute best deals out there are going to be off-market deals because there are some sellers who just either from a lack of knowledge or a lack of patience just want to completely liquidate the home at a very low price. The issue is that these deals are very far and few between. They make up a tiny percentage. And if you're doing this as an active process, looking for properties, it's either going to be a tiny minority of the deals that you do, or it's going to be something that is probably not something that you end up buying for an enormous amount of work looking for a property off market. So if you exclude those deals, and you factor in things like the assignment fee that you would have to pay off market, the actual return buying a flip on market is just the same as buying it off market. And so the on market options, there's about twice as many flips that are purchased on market as off market. And the returns are basically identical. So if you are out there looking for, a rehab opportunity or equity opportunity, if you are not looking on the MLS, you are kind of missing out on a whole, on the most options that are out there. And so I'm not going to be here to dissuade you from looking off market. I think you should. Especially if you're on some wholesaler lists, just see what comes into your inbox. Think about it as just another part of your sourcing. But also you should be searching every day on the MLS for those deals. And we're going to kind of cover that today. Let's see if I can share my screen.
Yep, let me make sure you can do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, you guys. All right, I'm so excited for this because as you guys know, in BPM RIA, we do specialize in wholesaling. So this is just another awesome thing to add to your toolbox. And like Gideon said, no catch. You can find all this information on their website and it's just amazing. So yeah, everybody please pay attention. Like Nikki, you co-host as well, Violet. All right, you guys should be good now.
Okay. Sorry for all the adjustment. I have like a standing height chair that I recently acquired. So
that's pretty cool.
I'm very elevated from the floor right now.
Oh, you are just happy that you're here, Gideon. You are like,
oh, great.
You are so far away right now. This is just, it's a blessing that we even have Zoom. So awesome. Good stuff.
Yes. Okay, cool. So finding deals on the MLS. So first we've already covered why, there are in fact really good deals on the MLS. But let's go ahead and talk about why people think there aren't good deals on the MLS. People often think that the MLS is going to be very crowded. It's going to be very competitive. So a lot of time is going to be wasted on there. You have to pay these commissions. So why would, how is it possible that you could have a good deal when there's all these commissions going on between you and the seller? And then there's this uncertainty. This is you're going to have to make an offer and you might not get your offer accepted, whereas a wholesale deal is kind of just like, okay, it's a done deal. But I think these are also advantages too. So, on the topic of competition, I think this is maybe the big one is everywhere you go as a real estate investor learning about real estate stuff, you're told that you want to find off-market deals. And, I'm sure you hear about it in this group too, and there are great off-market deals. But if everyone is telling you to go look for deals off-market, how is it possible that the competition is on market and not off market? In my experience, when you're on a wholesaler's, getting deals from a wholesaler, you're one of many people on their newsletter also getting alerted of that. Plus the people who are opening those emails about those wholesale deals, they're already like predisposed to be excited about those deals. So they're going to be engaged in there. And so they're engaged competitors with you. And so, yeah, there's a lot of this competition there. There's also tons of parts of the MLS that are just not competitive. I mean, one of the reasons that people are able to make money off of, rehabs and this, single family real estate deals is because it's an imperfect market. It's not like the stock market where every stock has, millions of buyers and millions of sellers happening every microsecond on there. This is just like a set number of humans who actually might, go into the house and buy it or live there or whatever, who are looking at properties at a set number of sellers. And there are holes, there are things that fall through the crack all the time. And there's a whole category of properties that I like to call pre-price reduction, where that these are properties are overpriced. And statistically, like 99% of the time, they're going to reduce the price instead of just taking it off the market permanently. And so these people who are in pre-price reduction, there is a whole nother set of prices out there for a lot of properties that they are preparing themselves to accept or go to that they haven't yet. And so there's not a lot of competition there. So I think the competition issue is really a non-issue, and in some ways an advantage on the MLS. Regarding the commission, there's this space between you and the seller with this, 6% or 5% or even 4%. It's, that space exists off market too. If you're buying from wholesalers, there is a big assignment fee that's baked in there. And if you are going direct to seller, well, then you can think of that assignment fee in the form of your marketing expenses that you have to spend in order to get to them. And then the uncertainty. I mean, sending out mailers, for months and months and follow-ups, getting a skip tracing service, buying some software for this, buying some software for that. What if you get months down the road and you haven't gotten a deal? Like, there's a huge risk there. There's a huge uncertainty for you. And this is not to say you shouldn't do off market, but on market is like kind of nice when you think about all these factors. And I think if you're just starting, like if you're an individual who is just trying to buy one property for themselves to start with, and then maybe ramp it up from there, or just one property occasionally, you've got to be using the MLS. And I would start with the MLS. And then when you feel like you need more volume because you're buying more, that's when you start reaching out to wholesalers and trying to increase your streams of sources that are coming your way. So when it comes to finding properties on market, it all comes down to price. And this is like, and I'm also going to be talking about rehabbing today, because when it comes to flipping a house, it's a very definable, like, good versus bad success outcome. So, if you get it at the right price, you win. There's that saying that you make your money on the buy. Like if you buy a property at a low enough price, it's going to be a good deal. And so the process of finding properties on market is looking for either where that price is good or where it's not quite yet there, but with the right lowball offer, it would be good. So one of the issues with the MLS certainly is that there are over 10,000 properties listed on the MLS at a given time in a certain area. It could be even more. Like in Broward County, I think there's about 10,000 active listings. So you really can't look at every single one of those. You can look at a lot, but it's constantly updating and it's a lot to get through. So you need to develop the skill of getting to know. And this is especially important for new investors out there. You often feel that the work of looking at a property, the analysis of it, is somehow work that counts. But you're not an employee in this part of your world. You're not getting paid by the hour. So all this effort that you're spending on a deal that doesn't pencil is lost forever. You never get that time back. And so if you want to think about it as like this is recreational fun for you and you're just looking at houses, like, yeah, totally looking at pictures of a dilapidated house or a beautiful house can be very fun, but it's not part of the productive process. So when you're actually looking for deals, let's say you're an agent out there who works with rehabbers, or you're a relatively high volume flipper, anytime you're spending that's not on note really needs to be like cut out. So When you can't find a no, that's where, you move forward, you write an offer, or, you try to make that happen. So there's sort of levels of no that I would recommend. The first level is the photos. If you're a rehabber and the house, like, there's nothing to fix up, no, we move on right away. Easy, right? The next one is the comps and the value. So even if something is really in poor shape, but the comps and ARV just don't justify that there's, a big enough spread. Like maybe it's in bad shape and it's listed for 400 and it could be worth 500. Chances are that's not a big enough spread, especially if this listing hit the market today, and a lowball offer is really not on the table. You might need a bigger spread before being able to say no. Maybe you save it for later. In that case, if it's like, let's say, a $50,000 spread at that price point, it's like a clear, hard no. It's never going to happen. Move on. So then you get into your numbers, and you start like looking at this a little bit more carefully. If you can't say no from a quick overview of the comps and the ARV, now you start going into like, okay, maybe another pass at the ARV, seeing if there's another way you can say no. You start looking at the photos and start thinking like very ballpark, very general, what will my rehab costs be? And so that's when you discern like, okay, this $100,000 spread, if it's a 20,000 rehab, this could work. If it's a 50,000 rehab, there's not a chance because you got all these extra fees. And we'll cover some of those fees today. From there, if it's still like, hey, it's 400, it's worth 550, it's going to be maybe 50,000 to fix up. Like, it's not exactly like the deal of a lifetime, but like there might be something there. That's when you start doing your due diligence. Maybe you call your agent and say, hey, are there any supplements attached to the listing? Like a seller procured inspection or seller disclosure that has some extra info. Maybe you even visit the house or your agent kind of gets some like pre-info for you. Maybe it went back on market and you're trying to figure out, hey, why did it go back on market? Is there more to the story than this? Maybe start looking at the street view. Is there like a power line in the backyard? And that's why it's actually a justified price. Or is it just keep looking like you can't really say no? And then if that happens and you still can't say no, then you get into the negotiation. And the negotiation should happen before you write an offer. Like if you have like you don't want to have this mindset that you should write 100 offers and get, one yes, and now you're a success. Like if the agent that's willing to write 100 offers for you for one success is probably not a good agent. And if things go wrong in the transaction, they are probably not the best agent equipped to like fix the problems for you or to kind of advise you on how much they think you can reduce price based on the inspection or how much, you can maximize these things. And so, I'm not saying that you need like your agent needs to get paid, on a $2 million house, 3%, but your agent should be good enough that they really don't have the time for 100 offers if only one's going to say yes. A good agent should be willing to make though, maybe not 100, but like 50 kind of feeler offers before making a house. So what this is you should be able to determine if there's no chance of getting your offer accepted before you write an offer. And a skilled agent will be able to do this and try to get you to that right price point. Like if they were to say yes, what that right price point is. And if they are to say no, get that no pretty quickly, but without jeopardizing the relationship. So there's a lot of skill to being a good agent in this process, even though it might seem like, just writing a contract. And finally, we get to the offer, the actual paperwork, and try to make it happen. And hopefully maybe 1 out of 3 of our actual written offers get accepted, if not higher. Again, we should have some pretty good semblance of how realistic this offer is going to be before we go in. So for those of you who are brand new, I will give you one caveat to the last thing, which is that you have to get to writing an offer in order to start investing. Because the price that if you've never flipped a house, then, or you've never, done a real estate investment, then you might theoretically understand, okay, investing is all about price. But until you actually like put your name on it and you sign it and you deliver that offer with an actual price and they might say yes. And then you're like, oh shit, what am I going to do? You haven't really pushed yourself in the analysis process. It's like watching a YouTube video about working out versus actually working out. Okay, oh, that thing was hard. I know what it feels like. I'm really exhausted. Same thing with writing an offer. Like you go from theoretical to real once you submit that offer. So if you are a brand new agent, a brand new investor, and you're working with an agent, you you should probably tell them, hey, I haven't done one of these. I am financially qualified. I do have the money, and I have all the prep paperwork to show that I have the money. Um, but I'm afraid of overpaying on my first one. So it would be nice if I could maybe, my first offer or two might be a little bit too ambitious, and I'll probably get a no, but that might make me feel comfortable with like where the market is. Because I see, okay, the market's not taking my offers. I'm going to get a little bit more realistic and I can inch my way up. And I never, because if you're a new investor and your first offer gets accepted, that's like a little concerning too. Like, oh, have you way overpaid on this? You don't really want to be in that situation either. But just communicate that with your agents so that they know that you are new. And as long as you have the money and they know you're serious, like it should be okay. And it could be even fun for them, you going through this process together for the first time. Okay, let's dive in to the website. So this is lotside.com, formerly Pelago. The URLs are a bit switchy back and forth right now, so forgive us. But you just go to lotside.com, LOTSIDE. If you go to pelago.com, the old name, you will still be able to, it'll still work the same, but we will be phasing out Pelago as a URL, over the next whoever knows how long. So this is Lotside. Think of it as like, a Zillow, Redfin type of website, but for rehabbers. So we type in any address or we type in an area. So this is the Broward County group. So we're going to type in Broward. And we're going to pull up some properties. And so one thing you'll notice here is on the listings, you'll see an ARV and a rent for every property. So the ARV is the after repair value. It's what the property could be worth in a renovated condition. And it's estimated by us. It's estimated by a computer automatically here. So it might be a little high, it might be a little low. But our system has some, AI and other stuff going on in there that might help, that helps figure out what the what the ARV might be. Same thing there with the rent. We estimate the rent. PITI, for those who don't know, is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. It's basically going to be your like rental costs minus your maintenance, management, and things like that. So because we have these things in here, we're able to filter by listings that might have a spread in here. So you'll see a lot of properties, the ARV is very similar to the list price. So ARV 858, ARV 264, it's basically identical. And that's good. That's how the market should be, is that typically you want to list as close to the actual price, what it's worth now as you can. But then there are some where there's a spread. So like here is the ARV 640, the price is 550. Now we already talked about, how getting to know with the price and the spread and the photos. So like, I think real quick here, if this property is, a bombshell, it's probably not going to be, and like, okay, so see if this one's already fixed up. So give the system a little room for maybe being wrong on some of these. And now we don't have to click on that one. So you can filter by all the same things that you would normally filter from. So let's say you want to flip a house, you just search house there. And then maybe there's a certain price point that you want to stay under. So let's say 800,000. Okay, now we've got our standard list. Again, if you really look at these ARVs and these spreads are really not there. So we need to filter. And the gross gain filter is how we do that. So the gross gain is going to be how much higher the ARV is than the list price. So a 20% gross gain means that the ARV has to be at least 20% higher than the list price. So as an example, if the list price is 500,000 and the gross gain is 20%, that means we only want to see properties where the ARV for that $500,000 house would be 600,000. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, I recommend 20% for the gross gain filter as a starting point. 20% is really not enough for you to make any money as a flipper. But the reason I picked 20% is because the system can be wrong about what it thinks the after repair value is. And we also want to look for things that, for a variety of reasons, might make us feel like, okay, maybe this will take a low ball offer, or it will be a good deal after some other considerations. Okay, so now we look at the properties and try to get to know as quick as possible. So here, I mean, to me, this spread between the ARV and the price is just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, but clearly there's something wrong here. Then I look at this one, look at the photos. Okay, hey, we got ourselves a deal here. So this one worked. So now we can dig into this one in Boulevard Gardens, and we can see the photos. Clearly, it's a beat up house. At this point in my process, I'm not looking for specifics. I'm not thinking about what it needs. It clearly needs work. And for me, all I needed to know was, does it need work? Can I say no because it doesn't need work? And it seems like it needs relatively a lot of work, but I'm not going to get into the specifics on what it needs. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the comps. And the comps are designed to try to find comps in a remodeled condition. So, generally speaking, a lot of these are flips. In nice areas, it's kind of like a very average house. In a less nice area, this is like a very high-end house for that part. So we can see here the comps are flips. So we can look and see the photos. Okay, perfect. This is exactly the kind of like finished product that we want for our house. So looks good. And then we look at our house and we say, okay, yeah, is the shape outside looks similar? And we can start thinking which, later we'll go into like which comps are best, how close are we, etc. But we see these comps, and these comps, they have a sales price, they have an adjusted value, which we'll dig into in just a second. And you kind of see, okay, the ARV at the top, 438. I can't really say no based on the comps. So now I'm going to dive in deeper into these comps and try to figure out, are these comps wrong about something? Like, are these comps like, is there an outlier in here that's making all the comps higher? And I can see right here on the bottom in these adjusted values that these prices are pretty much all very similar. So it's not like there's an outlier here. So there's a lot of consistency. We can see a lot of these comps, they really do look pretty similar from the outside. And they're flips, the finish inside of them is pretty similar. So like there could be promise here. Looking at the bedrooms, bathrooms, like they're all pretty similar. There's one that has an extra bedroom. There's a little bit of difference on the square footage. So they work pretty nice. And then I look at like, okay, the dates, they all sold recently. But this is actually something that I think that, here's a good example. This one sold December 2023. I think we care about this comp, because a lot of people will tell you that you only want comps that are, less than 6 months old, because otherwise it's stale. But the truth is, if you adjust for how much the market has changed between when the comp sold and today, then you end up getting this, you end up getting a comp that's relevant in today's market. And the market is, at least recently, is a very volatile thing. And it could be that a comp from 8 months ago is closer to today's value than a comp from 2 months ago. So if the market has gone down for the last 2 months, and it went up a little before then the comp that's 2 months old could actually be a very bad representation of what the market is. And so that's why what our system does is, regardless of if the comp is 1 month old or it's 12 months old, we put in this appreciation adjustment. So you can see here, and this is all based on the property size. You see there has really, the market's been pretty flat. And if we look up to the graph, we can see that the market is, pretty flat there. As we go back further, okay, in March, there has been some solid appreciation since March. Not a ton since April, but it's a little bit. And on other properties and other zip codes, this appreciation or depreciation might be more significant. There's also adjustments here for the comps, for the bedrooms and bathrooms, and for the square footage. And so these are adjustments that you, as you get, experience in this, or if you are experienced, you should bring your own judgment to these and say, hey, I think this adjustment is too high. I think this adjustment is too low. Like right off the bat, when I look at a lot of properties on this, I typically find that bedrooms are not worth that much money for a resale value. They are for rent, but not for a resale value. Whereas bathrooms tend to be worth quite a lot. So it's surprising to me that this comp is it has an extra bedroom, so we're subtracting 14,000, but this one has one less bathroom and we are have to add 10,000. You know, these directions are the right thing. If the comp has one less bathroom, well, then you adjust it to the subject property. You have to add a bathroom. That bathroom is going to be worth something. But in my experience, a bathroom is worth significantly more than a bedroom. So I might discount this bedroom adjustment as like, this is a little too extreme. Maybe it should only be 5 or 10,000. And I might, underweight this one where I think, hey, this should be 15,000 or higher in terms of what it's worth. And when we look at these adjusted values here at the bottom, we see a lot of consistency in the 430 to 440 range. And then this one is 416. So that's where I think like this one is actually probably worth more than we're giving it credit for, because of that bathroom is the bathroom is kind of understated in terms of what it's worth. So that's how we go through comps. What we really care about is always this adjusted value here at the bottom, because if something's sold and it's has one less bathroom and it's sold for 390, well, what do we that say about the subject property? It means you have to make these adjustments to make the comp relevant to the subject property. So you want to make these comps identical to the subject property so that you can really compare them. And that's where the adjusted value is. So the sales price is really never the number you're looking for. Like it's a data point, and oh, nothing sells for more than this price in this area or less than this, and that can be useful. But ultimately, it's the adjusted value that's giving you a sense of what the house is worth. And so the adjusted value is either kind of organized here through this ARV at the top, or there's this little sentence down here that'll give you the median value of the selected comps. Like you can unselect these or select other comps that haven't been selected, and the average. What I would say is like when I go through these and I see like 2 or 3 adjusted values and like the house is like looks like exactly what I want my house to look like afterwards, then I just look at those adjusted values and think, yeah, it's somewhere in there. So like maybe in this 440, 450 is where I think we might end up landing for that. So that's the comp section. We still can't say no. So now we go down and we start doing our numbers. And this orangey section here, this is where we do our numbers. And we're going to start with the resale calculator. So we click resale calculator. And this is where we start looking at our numbers. So we have a resale profit of 55,000, but obviously this is very deceptive because there's no rehab costs in here. So we can edit any of these things, and we might just start with the starter number, let's say 50,000. There was quite a lot of work to do in there. So actually, let's go back to the rehab tab, and we see this like, okay, we look at all these photos and like it looks really beat up, right? It looks like it really needs quite a lot of work here. So it's probably going to be on the high end, this to the studs or this heavy remodel. These are just guys, really, if there's any part of this that you should not take to heart, it should be these rehab estimates, because we really don't know how much it's going to cost, and we don't really know what it needs. And so many things are localized. Well, I mean, this is localized a bit, but there's also like who your contractor is. And rates can vary dramatically between contractors. So, but let's say like, just off the bat, we're looking at these numbers and we think, hey, this looks about right, or this looks about right with to the studs. Like either way, it's going to be more than 50,000. Like bare minimum 75,000, and we're being pretty generous there. Like realistically, this could cost 100,000 to like get to that condition, and we're already at minus 25,000. So we're kind of in the no territory here. And we look at when this was listed. This went back on market September 24th. So normally I would say if this was a brand new listing, there's no chance on here, because like one of my rules of thumb is that a brand new listing, there's no rush to get to it. But a stale listing, there's a lot of a rush to get to it, because you never, like the worst thing is when you're pursuing a stale listing that you're in this slow back and forth trying to lowball it, and that somebody else comes in and also starts doing that, and now you're in this competitive multiple offer situation. But anyways, the back on market is sort of like this in-between scenario where The seller is like really has lost some patience here with selling it. They know things reset. There is still that like, okay, fresh listing, let's see what happened. But there's also a bit of a stain on the listing now. Like, why didn't it sell? And so everybody knows that this is going to be like not the most fun situation, because there's going to be agents like your agent who should call and say, hey, why didn't this like why did this go back on market? What happened to this property? And so, if you're close on this and you're thinking like, like let's say this was $0, then I might call, because zero is obviously not enough, but you might need 50,000 in profit. I think going down 75,000 is probably like not even worth it. Like if you're the agent yourself, maybe you go ahead and call them because you don't care about wasting that time. And you say, hey, you know, like you'd have to come in at what, like 250 on this one? Like it might not even be worth a phone call on this. Maybe you track it, and going back to this process, like when we did this filter, we went from 10,000 properties down to 332 properties. So if you're an active investor, and certainly if you're an agent that works predominantly with investors, like you should know all 332 of these. And on a day-to-day basis, there's only going to be like 10 changes that are happening to this, maybe 15 or 20 max, depending on your area. So like you can keep up with this. So if you'll get to the point after you get through your 300, maybe it's a slog for, a weekend or whatever, but eventually you get through it. And now when the new ones come up, you see this one again, you recognize that first photo, and you're like, oh yeah, this one. Hey, they had another price reduction. Okay, now maybe I can start to smell blood in the water. I'm going to give them a call and see what we can do on that one. So any questions so far? How do I do this?
Yes, I saw some questions. Alrighty, let's see in the Q&A, and you guys put those questions in the Q&A if you have any, please. There's a button in the Zoom menu. I have Juliana, access to MLS agents only. Do you mean sites like Zillow, Trulia, etc.? No.
No, the MLS is like Zillow and Trulia, they're getting data from the MLS. And that's what we're doing too. All active listing data, really any photos and stuff typically comes from an MLS out there.
Donna says, how current is the data updated daily from MLS? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean, pretty similar to like a Zillow or a Trulia. We obviously don't have the same resources that they do. So the site probably breaks a lot more and has like, pages that go blank or something wonky that happens. But we pull the data, every few minutes. So it should go throughout the day. And, and you can create little search alerts here too with it. And, we also have these little things to keep it organized, like, oh, we're naming this like 20% gain, under 800. So you can have some of these searches, you can either keep them in tabs, you can save those searches, create a name for them, and get alerts on them.
Perfect. And thank you, Christy, in the chat. Amazing site. Think it's going to get my next rehab to the next level. I love that. Thank you so much. All right, you guys keep putting those questions in the Q&A box. That's all I see for now. So keep
Okay.
it.
Well, so I'll dive into a couple other things while good questions, come in, and other ways to find properties. While we're on this page, there's also this rental comps thing that, could be useful to you guys. So you can see like what comps have been listed for rent and were rented. I think just like as a general pro tip, these adjustments might not be quite as good as the sale adjustments on them. But like you can see this real data, like, okay, comp A, this was rented for 3,300. Like that's useful data. So if you're a landlord in this area, I recommend the rental comps tab. It's very useful. So you get there by scrolling down, and then you start on sale comp, and then you click on rental comp. We also have a rental calculator. So you can start, you know, keeping track of all these numbers. Let's say you're your own property manager. The way you would edit that is, let me click back. The way you'd edit that is you click this box, click 0, click save. Now that goes to 0. Now your expenses went down accordingly. We also have these budgets. So like maybe you keep your rent low and you have 0% vacancy, which is honestly not that rare. Like if you are really on it, like it's very possible to like very rarely have vacancy, like way below 5%. You click save and now that goes down. So you can see how, you know, your cash flow could be with a property like this. And so if you're looking for cash flow, you know, going back to the search page, that same thing we did with gross gain, you can do with the spread between rent and PITI. So let's say you want to be 10%. So maybe we do 10% for the income. Now we're down to 122. Let's roll this back to only 10% for the gross gain. Okay, so now we have 157. You know, these could be like, you know, feel good rentals. If you really want the BRRRR experience, you do the 20% there. And so you know, we don't have higher than 20%, just because there's only so many results anyways, and the world just keeps getting, you know, more expensive. If we get to the point where the world's not getting more expensive, then you have to like question, do you even want to be buying rentals? So we just don't go that high on it right now. A couple other filters that we have here. So we have this assumable loan filter. And so the way this works is that if you have a if you have a VA or FHA loan on a property, it is assumable by the person who buys it. So even if you're not a veteran, you can assume a VA loan from a veteran. So they have the option to assign that loan to you, or at least let you apply for it. You still need to get approval from the VA, from FHA on these things. And I will tell you that from what I've been told, because I haven't done one of these myself, it is a lot harder to get approved as an investor doing this than as a owner occupant. So I think the assumable loan thing is, you know, really is really good for someone who's doing like a house hack, where you're buying the house, living in one room, renting out the other rooms, or you're buying a duplex or triplex and you're living in one unit and renting out the other units. Because in these cases, you are an owner occupier, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to get approved for that owner occupancies, for that assumption. So you would just click has assumable loan. And now we see the ones that have assumable loans. So like, you know, if you're not in a rush to move and find that perfect house hack for yourself, because like if you live somewhere, you have, you know, a bias on the places that you want to live. So maybe you're like, hey, I want to live here, and you can add an extra drawing. Cool thing you can do on this site and not other sites. So you say, hey, I want to live in these 2 areas. And there's nothing in that one, but there's a few in this one that have this assumable loan filter. You can save that and be like, okay, this is going to be my like, you know, dream house assumable loan kind of search. You can click save, and now you can turn on the search alert by hitting this bell right here. Okay, so you hit your dream bell right there, and then, you know, there won't be that many that match this criteria, but when they do, you will get an alert about them. The other filter here that we've highlighted is the equity filter. So this is us estimating how much equity is left. So if you're looking for a seller financing situation, so like maybe you click on multifamily here, and you know, people who have multifamily are probably more likely to do seller financing, and people who have a free and clear house, which means that the minimum equity is at least 100%, are more likely to do seller financing too. And sometimes there's unknown equity, so I'll just click hide equity to simplify it. And now I've got 56 listings in Broward County that are multifamily under 800,000 that are free and clear. Not that many properties. So if there's anyone who's going to give me a seller financing sale here, you know, maybe 3 or 5 year balloon at like, you know, 3%, it's probably going to be one of these 56. So this is another thing that you can create a search alert for. Um, and that's everything. That's my whole presentation. So any questions?
Ready, you guys? Question time. Thank you so much, Gideon. We really appreciate this information and all your feedback and perspective. I have Helena in the Q&A. She says, where can we see the minimum AVR, ARV, AVR?
What do you mean
Average.
the minimum ARV?
Maybe minimum average percent? I'm not sure, Helena. Can you clarify? So sorry. We'll skip to the next. All right, Fabi has a comment here. She says, VA loans are assumable, but the seller loses his or her benefits. Okay. Not a question. Love you though. Can you
It's a good note. It's a good thing to note.
love her. Can you search an area by DOM?
Like days on market?
I believe.
Yeah. So if you go to all filters, you can filter by days on market, which is traditionally like the total number of days it's been active. So if it goes back on market, like it's like the time before it went pending, and then the time when it's back to active, you add that up. Or the day since last update, which I think is often like the more useful one, which is like how long has it been since the last update was made. So either the last time there was a price reduction, the last time it went back on market, the last time, the last time something, real changed about the listing, and it is brought to the top of most of these like search result lists. So if you want to like lowball property, like, again, you don't want to sleep on these lowballs, but maybe you're like, okay, there's really no point in making, a seller financing offer on anything hasn't had an update for at least 10 days, maybe. And maybe you add 10 for the days on market too. Although that'd be sort of implied actually. So we can get rid of that 10 here. And I have to move this Zoom thing. Okay, cool. Now I can click search. And so, okay, yeah, the earliest one is 2 weeks ago anyway. So we already like fit that, but that's how you would use that filter.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Alrighty. Helena meant to say ARV. So minimum ARV?
Um, well, I mean, you can, the ARV is always a range of possibilities and should be based on kind of like what you think your finished product will be. So some people finish a property less than others, and that's like a viable strategy. And some people finish it more than others. And so, you would have to come up with your own minimum ARV if I'm understanding the question correctly.
Okay. She says, he mentioned how to figure out the minimum 20% ARV on the site.
Okay. So that's the spread between the price and the ARV. And so I clicked on gross gain here. The gross gain is the spread between the ARV and the price.
Awesome. I hope that clarifies everything, people. Let me know. Alrighty. Juliana, I understand this is specialized for flips, right?
Well, I think we went through some rental examples where it can be pretty useful, both on the rental comps, looking for seller financing opportunities, looking for house hack opportunities. So I think it's pretty useful for investors and single family and kind of small multifamily investors in general.
Agreed. Agreed. You guys, I hope you click the link in the chat and I'll pop it in one more time, but keep putting your questions in. Do we have any more questions, you guys? Thank you, Donna. Appreciate that. I know we'll have a raffle winner in here somewhere, but goodness, guys, I thought you would have more questions. I know you guys, I agree. Gideon is very thorough. I totally agree. So, questions, everybody, or else we'll go ahead and tune off early. Jay, I see your hands up, but I can't hear you. So if you could put your question in the chat or the Q&A, we're here to answer those. Alrighty, we have Sharon in here. Can this be used for Airbnbs?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the Airbnb rent estimate, so you'd have to kind of plug that into the rental calculator yourself. But to the extent that you can use Zillow for finding Airbnbs, you can certainly use this.
Let's go. All right, there we go. Alrighty. Helena missed the beginning. Good thing we did record today's session. The website looks different. She's asking if what we're looking at on the screen is a paid version.
No, there is no paid version.
Perfect.
The way we make money is we're a brokerage. So there's two ways we make money. Either from agents hanging their license with us. We find a lot of active investors have a license and they like to self-represent and represent friends and family and folks in their community. And if you're an investor and you're looking for an agent, we have a lot of investor agents. Not all of them work with clients. In fact, it's been one of the big struggles for us is we have, hundreds of agents in an area and a lot of them flip houses and buy rentals. And a lot of them just like, they're not the right agent for you to work with because like they're just doing their own thing and they are, they're just like not the right person. So we have Violet here on the call with us. She is our managing broker for Florida. She has experience working with investors. She's had some Airbnbs herself. And so she lives, in South Florida, but we have agents throughout the state. And so she can recommend who to work with in what area, help connect you with the right investor agent for you.
Absolutely, you guys. Violet's contact info is on our website under vendor partners. So all you need to do is go to the website, click vendor partners, it's there, and we'll update that link on there as well for you. Because I think it's the Pelago website on the website. So go into lotside.com. Super easy, can't forget it. And Juliana, same thing, pricing of the tool. It is free. Free. Love it. Sonia's looking for seller financing deals. We did touch on that, I believe. So yeah, get in there. Go to lotside.com. What states are you in? From Steve?
Um, most of the highly populated ones, except for like New York and New Jersey, we're working on those now. We're constantly adding areas, and if we don't have it there, check back in a month or so, and we will have more. I think we are in the process of adding South Carolina, Alabama right now, Minnesota soon. So we're working on a lot of those, but certainly there's some gaps, and so if you create a free account, you'll be on our email newsletter, and so periodically we update people on when we've entered new markets.
Yes, you guys. I will go ahead and email each and every one of you the link. I'm going to remind you guys to go ahead and make that free account if you didn't already. Lotside.com, make your account, get in there, start searching, filtering, all the things. And yeah, you guys, we did record, so you can review this again. Any other questions, you guys? Last call for questions. I'll go ahead and announce the raffle winner for the free membership. I see some hands up, you guys. Go ahead and put those questions in the chat, in the Q&A. We're looking, we're here. We will tune off if we don't have any more questions. So let us know. But yes, I do have a winner, and the winner for the 1 year free membership to BPM RIA is Deborah S. Congratulations, Deborah. We will be in touch and I will be more than happy to give you that, hand you that over today. So we'll be in touch and congratulations. You guys, last call for questions. Please look out for my email. It's coming from me, Alexa, like the Amazon thing at bpmreia.com. So hopefully your devices didn't just get set off. My bad. But yes, I will email each and every one of you the link to make your free account on lotside.com. You guys know where to find Violet. Her contact information is listed on our website under vendor partners on bpmria.com. Look out for her in November. She should be there, God willing. She'll be there. She's gonna be there for you guys. So look out for Violet. She wants to talk to you. She wants to meet you face to face, shake your hand as long as you know we're safe to do that. And you guys, we are so grateful for the time. Gideon, Violet, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you guys. Hope to do this again soon. And we'll see you guys at the next webinar on Thursday, same time, same place. And again, thank you everyone who asked the questions and everything. Oh, we have Bill in here, one of our members. He says he has a Pelago account. Does he need to make an account with Flotside?
No, you're good.
Cool.
It'll be all the same database.
There you go, Bill. Thank you so much for asking that question. Thank you guys all for tuning in today. Thanks, Gideon and Violet. Again, we appreciate you guys so much. Can't wait to do this again with you guys. Have a great day, everyone. Please stay safe with these storms ahead. And yeah, see you on Thursday. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Alexa.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.